Donald Trump held a campaign press conference in Texas today to, as you would expect, fearmonger about the border. But Donald Trump can never just focus on one topic. His mind is wandering as he becomes more deranged and angry. So this speech took a pretty shocking turn pretty quickly, and we are going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I can quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It really goes a long way. It means the world to me. Now, like I said, this speech focused on immigration, hit a bunch of other topics, but of course Trump opened it up with some textbook fear-mongering right here.
They're coming in from the Middle East. The Congo, that's a hot place right now. A lot of people coming in from prisons in the Congo. They're coming into our country. It's not even believable, actually, when you think. You know, you're standing up here, you're saying this stuff, John Barrasso, but you're saying this, and you say to yourself, you know, is it even believable? It's sort of like, actually in a smaller way, but still very important, men playing in women's sports. Who would want that? But, you know, 10 years ago, you would never say that. And then you have the transgender operations all over the place. And you're saying this, and you have parental guidance, and we want our child to be parentally guided. And you have to make apologies for the fact that they're not, but they're going to be, and we're going to bring that back. We want our parents.
As we say so often, the reason he likes to fearmonger about immigration isn't just because he thrives on fear, wants to make people scared and angry, wants to divide. It's because he talks about this issue and never sees any pushback from reporters of any kind. He never is asked about his mass deportation plan, how immoral it would be, how jumbled it already is, and the devastating effect it would have on our economy. No, Donald Trump can just ramble and lie and push conspiracies without getting any pushback. And another thing that he should get some pushback on is what he said right here.
What we want. That's not what we want. President Xi used to look at him and still does, I guess, right? But he used to he just said, oh, this makes me so happy, he says. And Putin and the whole group, Kim Jong-un, they're tough guys out there. They're tough and they're smart and they're streetwise and they're at the top of their game. And we don't have that.
It is funny that the only positive aspect of any Trump speech ever is when he is praising a dictator. He is constantly attacking America. He is constantly, obviously, attacking Vice President Harris. He's attacking his own crowd sometimes, but the only time he's positive is when he's talking about Putin or Xi or any other dictator out there. And like I said, Donald Trump with some pretty weird attacks today, and we saw one of those right here.
He knows who I'm talking about. When I say Harris, they say, who the hell is Harris? It's true. If I said VP Harris, nobody knows who it is. Can you believe she's a VP? A VP. How about the guy she's got? That's worse. I'm not sure. It might be worse than her. Well, she lived by the old adage, always get yourself a bad VP. And she's got one. We were very happy when we heard that choice, but we didn't know he was as bad as he did. He's a disaster. But Kamala.
I cannot believe that this is still in the stump speech, that Donald Trump continues to say that people don't know Kamala Harris's last name, that they don't know her name at all, that no one knows who she is. And this is just his insecurity about this election and his desire to go back to the past when I guess Vice President Harris was a little bit more unknown. He is always bringing up President Biden. He seems to still yearn for the days in which he was running against him because Kamala Harris obviously upsets Donald Trump so much, and so does Tim Walz. But his attack there was really just clear projection about J.D. Vance and the problems that he has caused his campaign. It is just the insecurity coming out of Donald Trump. And speaking of which, he has a lot of insecurity about the Atlantic, which have been devastating his campaign, the outlet, in both presidential cycles, both this one and last. And so Donald Trump decided to shift the tone of this event from fear-mongering to attacking that news outlet, as we can see right here.
We love you. And it was phony stories by a general that got fired, and he's a whack job, total whack job, a general. It's funny, when you fire people, see, Biden has never fired anybody, but when you fire people for doing a bad job, they get a little bit angry. Somehow it just seems to work. But he was a nut job to start off with. So it's such a beautiful story. Out of nowhere, we get a call saying that problem solved. Why? Because the family came to, and they said that the magazine totally lied and misrepresented. This was the same magazine that said that I said about dead soldiers that there was something, what was it, suckers and losers. Think of it. I'm supposed to be standing there over the graves of soldiers with people around me, military people or whatever, making a statement like that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine anybody doing it? I think I'd end up I may be the president, but I think somebody would start a fist fight. And probably I would say, you were right in there. Who would do this? They make up stories. It's not even like they have sources. They don't have sources. They're storytellers. They say, what would be bad? I have a bad one. And you know when it's always released? Same time with the last one. It's released just before the election. That's
in an event in which Donald Trump was supposedly supposed to be talking about the border. How fast did he get to his own personal grievance? Of course, Trump never wants to talk about substance. And even when he is talking about the border, he's not talking about substance, but attacking the Atlantic, attacking John Kelly, attacking the media in general, and pushing these conspiracies. And yeah, Donald, I'm pretty sure that those generals and military officials around you were pretty disgusted with the comments that you said, calling men and women in uniform, those who have given their lives, died for our country, suckers and losers. Yeah, they didn't like you. It's the reason why they're coming out against you and saying how dangerous you are. Do you not understand that? Your constant attacks on America concern them. They don't concern them. They terrify them. And we see more of those attacks from Donald Trump in this clip right here.
We're like a garbage can. First time I said it was last night. Gave a speech in Las Vegas. 29,000 people. It was an arena. We set the arena record. That was a big deal arena, too. We set the record, but it was an amazing crowd. The first time I ever said it, I don't know, it just came out, garbage can. We're like a garbage can.
What happened to the patriotism that MAGA claimed they have? What is this garbage can thing? And I love how Trump wants credit. You can hear it in his voice. You're like, oh, I came up with this line. I called it a garbage can last night. It's the first time I ever said it. Like it's some accomplishment to trash talk America, quite literally trash talk. And again, this is the hypocrisy of MAGA. Claim they want to be patriotic, claim they love this country, but all Donald Trump can do is attack it. And he only thinks America would be made great, not with his policies, but with him in charge, because he only cares about himself. And that's what Kamala Harris called him out for right here.
I also do want to address the comment that Donald Trump made about America being the trash can of the world, whatever he said, something along those lines. It's just another example of how he really belittles our country. This is someone who is a former president of the United States, who has a bully pulpit. And this is how he uses it to tell the rest of the world that somehow the United States of America is trash. And I think, again, the president of the United States should be someone who elevates discourse and talks about the best of who we are and invests in the best of who we are. Not someone like Donald Trump who's constantly demeaning and belittling who the American people are. America deserves better. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Ma'am, you're here to talk.
There is nothing patriotic or positive about the constant assaults Donald Trump makes on our country, and especially his attacks on our democracy, which have not stopped since January 6th, only gotten worse. But of course, now we see him shift his attacks away from 2020 and towards 2024. And yet the media doesn't want to cover it or call it out ever. And so let's watch this clip and then do just that.
Ever. And bad things happen. Lots of bad things happen. Where are those votes that I saw 2 days ago? Well, we're painting that section and we decided to move them, sir. Oh, you can't believe it. So they said, don't say it. So I didn't say it. Don't tell anyone I said that. But we're doing well. We're doing well in all 7 states.
I know he's doing it in a weird way, but he's clearly trying to insinuate that there's already something wrong with, that there's tampering going on with the 2024 election, that, votes have already been messed with, because he knows that he's behind in this race, that there's a very strong possibility that he loses. And so he's already trying to cover his bases. And we saw a really scary example of that with an official in North Carolina who said the state should just give its votes to Donald Trump already. And here's Kamala Harris's response to that.
America deserves to have leaders who respect the importance of one of the pillars and foundations of our democracy, which is free and fair elections, and that they are not manipulated by elected leaders for the sake of their own political future or their own political strategy for how they themselves want to succeed. This has to be about what's in the best interest of the American people. And one of the big issues in this election and in the next 11 days is, do you want a president who, on one hand, in the former President Donald Trump, tried to undo the will of the people, incited a violent mob to attack the United States Capitol, where 140 law enforcement officers were injured and some were killed? Or do you want a president who respects the will of the people, free and fair elections, and the right of the people to make a decision about who are their leaders?
They do not care. Republicans are willing to do everything possible to just give this election to Donald Trump. They don't care about your votes. They don't care about your voice. They don't care about the will of the people. They care about serving Trump and, in doing so, serving themselves, because that's what this is all about. It's how can Republicans help Republicans? How can Trump help Trump? Kamala Harris is focused on you. Trump is focused on himself. Pretty clear contrast that we're going to be talking about every single day on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you soon.